Welcome to take 2 of percent proportions. We are going to do a quick reteach and kind of talk about a few things about percent proportions just to kind of refresh our memory on that. So when we have a percent proportions, some things we need to remember are first how to set up a percent proportion. So a percent proportion has 2 parts with an equal sign because they are equivalent, and we know that percent goes over 100, so this will always be the same on this side, and then on the other side, this side, we are always going to have our total on the bottom and our part on the top. Okay, and remember, we can also have the words is, of. So that is how a percent proportion is going to be set up every single time. And if we are actually looking at a word problem, we are going to have 2 different options. We are going to have the word percent or an actual percent sign, so like 50%, 40%, 20%, and another number, just a regular old number. And then our other option is if we have 2 regular numbers, so like 14 and 20, and then it's going to say, what is that percent? So it's going to have the word percent or the symbol of a percent, and it's going to have either one other number or 2 numbers. So let's actually look at a word problem and kind of go from there. So it says right here, out of 950 people at a minor league baseball game, 40% had a season ticket. So right off the bat, I have a percent, okay? I have a percent right here, 40%, and I see that they had a season ticket, and then I have another number, the 950. So I need to decide, is that my part or my total? So let's reread the sentence. It says out of 950 people at a minor league baseball game. So first it says of, and we just talked about of goes on the bottom. So that's probably our total. And then it also says the people at a minor league baseball game. So that's all of the people. So this is our total. So I am going to label that as my total. And then I'm going to write what I know about this problem. So I have a total, and my total equals 950 people. Okay. Now let's look at the percent. I have 40%, and it said 40% had a season ticket. So I know 40% had tickets. I can give them a smiley face because they have season tickets. They can go to every single game. So what we need to practice doing is doing the other part of the percent as well. So if 40% had tickets, what percent did not have tickets? So I like to think of a Chromebook battery, a computer battery, a cell phone battery. If my cell phone is charged to 100%, we use 100 because 100 is our total. If it's at 100% and I use 40% of my battery, what percent would be left? Because we know batteries. So 100 minus 40 is 60. So 60% did not have tickets for the whole season. So they do not have tickets. Okay, so 40% had tickets, 60% did not have tickets. So this is what we need to think about before we answer our question. We have a total of 950. 40% had tickets, 60% did not. Now I can actually go down here and answer my questions. So this one says, how many people did not have a season ticket? And it said people, not percent. So I have a total of 950, and I want to use the not. So I have a number and a percent, so I can set up a proportion. So we already talked, looks like this. Percent goes over 100, and my total goes here. okay? So that's going to be the same no matter what. Total goes on the bottom, 100 goes there. Now I need to decide which percent do I need to use. I want the ones who do not, so therefore I need to use the 60%. And if we look back at this problem, it did not give me 60%. I had to figure that out myself. So I am going to fill in 60% again because that was the not, which was right there in my question. My X goes here, and then I could solve, okay? Now we're gonna move on to this question over here. It says how many people did have a season ticket? So on this side, again, we want the people, not the percent, so it can't just say 40%, 60%. We want people have a season ticket. So up here, we talked about 40% had a season ticket. 40% is not 40 people, so we need to set up a proportion again. So if we look, 950, the total does not change. The percent goes over 100, so this is exactly the same. But on this one, I want the people who had tickets. So the percent I'm going to use for that one is 40% because I want the ones who had tickets. So the big difference is which percent do I use? So on the not, we actually had to go and find that percent. On the have, we already had it in the problem. So the only thing that changes is which percent we have in that problem. And then we could go through and solve, which we have done before. On this one, we would multiply and divide by 100. On this one, same thing, we would multiply and divide by 100. So just make sure, last time, find out if it's your total or your part, and then find both pieces of your percent before you start solving.